Hello everyone, this is Boricua Binks and welcome back to Let's Play the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, where we are continuing on in the fourth case of the game. And last time we left off, we spoke to a very strange couple. I don't know if they're a couple, but they're weird. Basically, it's this man and what looks to be his maid, but then I was reading a description and it mentioned his wife, so I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, they're weird. They're definitely hiding something. I don't really care for them much. But now we are finally able to investigate inside of Mr. Natsume's room, and hopefully we'll encounter dear old Sherlock as well. So let's continue on. Okay. What? Just look at this place. Oh, such a cute little kitty right there. And smell it. It's so musty in here. Well, there's not really a window, so that doesn't help with airing out the room, I assume. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. But he's only been there a week. How the hell did he get so many books in there in that time? She's shocked. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here. Oh, sorry. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think. Yes. Once upon a time. Once upon a time, 84 years ago. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Holmes anywhere, have you? Is he buried in the books? Did they fall on top of him? Is he dead? Oh god. I doubt it, but still. No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Garadeb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Is he the cat? Okay, well, I guess we're gonna be examining all this mess. Let's start, make our way from left to right. Look at the nickel. Oh, look, it's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that maneki neko all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same. And this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. Although he hasn't had good luck so far. Yeah. Me and Ryunosuke, two peas in a pod we are. Thinking the same thoughts. It's not doing a very good job so far, is it? You mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word. I thought it out loud. Binks is the one who said it out loud. She's glaring at me. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Okay. It's really quiet in here. Is there supposed to be music? What's that? This appears to be some sort of meter on the wall here. Looks very robust. I wonder what it's for. There's a slot for inserting coins here too. Coins? Like a phone? Or like a like when you're in a hotel that has one of those, like a cheap hotel that has one of those vibrating beds that you put coins in and it shakes the bed. That'd be weird. What is that? Ah, I believe that is a gas meter, Mr. Naruhodo. You put coins in your gas meter? Oh, whenever I want to warm up, I just feed the gas meter some money. That sucks. A gas meter? Yes, it seems there is piped gas in this district, which consumers pay for by putting coins in the meter. Wow.
So if we were to put a coin in the slot,
That would be enough gas to use the lights and the gas fire for the whole night.
so if you're too poor to have a coin, you'd have to spend the night in the dark and freezing cold.
That's right, as would a rich man who only carried crisp white notes.
Ugh, London is a scary place. Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling.
They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty.
With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you?
No, what a dreamy idea.
I don't think you want to be buried in books like that, though.
A bad dream, maybe, for me at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again.
Ah, so reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us.
What?
I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy.
Don't understand that, but okay.
Oh, I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place.
Alright then. Oh. Well, let's look at the very obvious.
Could you even call this a window?
I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now.
So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? Why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that?
I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy.
Ugh, that's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive.
It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying.
Okay. I'm sure Sherlock is to the right. So let's just keep looking around here first.
Look at all these balls of paper on the floor. There are notes scrawled all over them, in English. Looks like the waste paper basket is so full they've just fallen out.
I think Mr. Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you?
Or deeply averse to tidying up his mess.
I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth.
Trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
The desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side.
I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well.
Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your Books.
Huh. Funny title. Huh.
Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it, look. And the date of purchase? 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident.
That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books.
Okay. You might have to go there then.
Kitty! Oh, it's so cute!
Look at it.
Kitty! Come back!
It's not safe. Don't go under those books. You might get lost down there.
Oh my, what an adorable little cat! Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away.
Although seeing a cat is kind of a little painful because it reminds me of Asogi. Why? I don't want to see a cat and then be sad, you know? Did I say God?
My brain. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while this master's away.
I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor
M-I key? What? Mikey? Mike? I don't know. Mikey? Maybe?
wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain?
Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan.
That's made me feel homesick now.
Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days.
But you were traveling a long time before that, weren't you? Is that a blanket? Okay, well, I think that's all. So I guess we're gonna have to look over here now.
Oh, there he is. How could you guys not have spotted him? He looks comfortable in there, doesn't he?
God, there's so many. Jesus.
Natsume, that's not healthy to be like this, sir. All right. What you doing, Shirley? Sherlock Holmes. Ah! Look, Mr. Nadahodo. All we had to do was turn our head a little bit to the right, and there he was. I'm sure he noticed them ages ago. He's like, how long do I have to wait for them to notice me?
Ah, there he is. Where did he appear from?
He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope you won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Holmes.
How did he get over here so quick? He teleported like a ninja. He's like, yes, I was eagerly waiting for them to notice me.
Oh, you two, good day.
Now, let me see. Where was it that we met?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, we were together on the SS Buria. You literally saw us only a couple of days ago.
Yes, of course, the Buria. And let me see. What happened on that voyage?
There's no way you forgot, don't lie.
It was Kazuma Asogi. He died, tragically. But you were a great help to us. It was the love of my life.
Oh, my poor Ryunosuke. It hurts my heart still.
Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
Oh, you're misremembering it, of course.
Well, you seem to remember something of it, at least.
What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Sherlock Holmes. This is Mr.
Oh, no, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic.
Sure.
Miss Naruhodo and Mr. Susato.
Wow. Well, he did remember their names. He just got them mixed up. Gender swap? You know there's fanfic of that somewhere.
Try the other way around, Mr. Holmes.
I lose the first round. Well, you win some, you lose some. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes.
So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short an amount of time?
I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little.
A little?
It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones.
It's interesting they're using the term brain attic here. At least in the... I don't remember in the books what he called it. But in the Sherlock TV show, at least, they call it Mind Palace, which sounds much more grand and seems more time appropriate. But I don't know. Maybe it's more similar to the whole brain addict thing. Who knows? And it was really funny when they used this whole thing about, oh yes, one of the things that Sherlock intentionally forgot was that the Earth travels around the sun, and it became like a joking point or something. But there he was basically arguing, oh, that's not useful information. I don't need to know that. It's like, dude, come on, even grade schoolers know that.
Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know? From an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet.
Study in Scarlet, one of the first books.
Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I already know you're famous.
I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully.
He means Iris, I suppose.
Mr. Holmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should be only too pleased, and this murky room is not a place to discuss the murky case.
Alright, let's talk, buddy.
We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Suseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Holmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road.
Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines.
But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? Like, there's not even a freaking motive, you know?
I'm sorry, Mr. Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What?
I can't believe he was looking Susato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance.
I assure you, I'm not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension.
Oh? How?
I assure you, I've no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime.
But that doesn't make sense.
The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene.
Ah, a man seen fleeing.
Okay, that's good. So he doesn't think he did it, probably.
There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased.
Ah.
On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question.
So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then?
That I could not tell you, but it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophilia. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no.
Oh dear. Alright, let's talk about that weirdo Gyarados.
Oh, tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings?
Yes, Mr. Gyarados, a retired military man.
It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services.
And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. I didn't think it was that funny.
I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer.
And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein.
So here's what I think he's gonna say next. because of that little discrepancy I saw when I was going to the next room that it mentioned his wife, I think his wife is pretending to be his maid just to make them look richer. But you can tell they're poor as hell, and they're just weird, you know? They're very weird people.
Betoken their social standing? Sorry?
Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance.
I had no idea.
And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs.
Yep.
Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garrideb.
Oh?
Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain.
Yeah, he's definitely hiding some stuff.
I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say.
So, my next estimate, my next guess is that maybe, you know how they have that folding screen that's clearly hiding something? All I can think is that there's some kind of proof that that's his wife that they're hiding, like a marriage photo or something. But I don't know. They're still acting really shady. Because she was silencing him about something else that happened. So I don't know what else it could be. I don't know.
This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna snap. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one.
Ah, but sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here.
About this dark little room, Mr. Holmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea?
No window?
Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks.
Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax.
What?
Window tax? What is that?
That's a thing? Wow. Surely, not a tax on windows.
Precisely that.
Oh my goodness, that's extremely crazy.
Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home perhaps, rapidly closed windows up, while the rich opened windows here, there and everywhere, in an effort to curry favour with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money.
Interesting.
How awful and unjust! Forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light! Indeed, disease was rife as a result. So, some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished.
So they could fix it, but they're probably not going to, because look at the state of their house.
But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example.
I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps?
It would appear so. I've done a little digging and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
A Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago.
Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation.
Oh?
Still, that is of little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention.
Are you sure? I'm curious now.
Okay.
Well, I believe I've told you all I can now.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law?
You remembered that, did you?
Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. On what grounds?
Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday.
Really? Well then, I'll congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too.
The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence?
You know, Phoenix did something like this too. I think in the first case, the first game, he was like, excuse me, he was kind of doubting himself and doubting his motto and being a lawyer and all of that. And he kind of went up and down with it a couple of times, actually. So it makes sense that his ancestor Ryunosuke would go through the same thing. So it's fine. It's a bit frustrating for us because we're like, dude, come on, just defend him. He needs you. But in his mind, it's a big responsibility to take on. So I get it.
Yes. Trust.
Mr. Holmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he?
My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea.
It's like you looking to him for answers, but he hasn't finished investigating. He doesn't know.
Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate?
Oh yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them.
Oh, I see.
AKA, it's up to you to investigate. I'm here to help a little bit, but not much. I think it's interesting because it's almost like he's gonna be like an ally, assistant, mentor, almost. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting because he is older. Not by much, right? Oops, wrong button. I meant to. It's on court record. It's been a while since I've examined or looked at the people, so Gregson is 44. He's stern and single-minded in his approach, great lover of fish and chips. We already said he was 52. Natsume is 33, which is shocking to me. He's only a year older than me and he looks horrible. He looks like he's in his 50s. Jeez. Iris is only 10, which is ridiculous, of course. Degree in medicine and author of a series, yeah. Maid, question mark. Uh-huh. John Garadeb, 46? What? He's like... No, he's not 46. No, why did even him as 44, he looks like in his 50s. Why do they do this? Ace Attorney's ridiculous. A 46-year-old shouldn't look like this, but whatever. Sherlock is 34. Yeah, so he's 34 here. Handsome man. Alright.
Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Holmes? Tell us.
I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something.
Yes, you said so earlier.
Mr. Garadeb is? Mr. Holmes said as much before, actually, didn't he?
Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case.
Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence.
No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garadeb's secret.
Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not.
True.
But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thanks, Sherlock.
A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room.
Wait, I just want to see. Let me see. Yep, he's over there. He's so cute. He's such a little cutie, a little fool. Alright. Well, I guess we have to go try to speak to Mr. Garadeb again. Alright, but actually we will do that in the next episode. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. And until next time, have a nice day. Bye-bye.